I came back again with another Pfaff mail repair. This is Gary's, I believe, machine, and he sent it to me because the circuit board wasn't working in it, and I repaired something on it. He doesn't need a circuit board. Okay, it was probably one of the contact pins or something that was in that the circuit board connects to. Anyway. It's all fixed now, so I just want to sew it off and show them that it's working fine. You get a lot of people out there, they tell you that circuit boards aren't available and stuff. Well, for this model it may not be. It's an older model, and I believe Pfaff is only doing the 1471 through 1475 boards, but they may only be doing board swaps, or maybe you have to send them your board and they'll just repair it and send it back. Sometimes it's better just to send them the whole machine so that they won't do the whole machine there and they can test it and all. But anyway, I sewed it off and all the patterns came out really good. So there's the patterns, the buttonhole. Okay, I did. Now normally I'll use just the zipper foot on here, but this time I used the buttonhole. I happen to have an 1171, and my buttonhole from that I used to make this buttonhole. For some reason, when you try to make a buttonhole with this machine, the material will slide back and forth and you won't get a correct opening for the buttonhole. The buttonhole foot actually puts a lot of weight down and holds the fabric so that it doesn't move back and forth, so it just goes up and back in the same area. So that's just a little tip. Use your buttonhole foot when you're doing the buttonholes on these machines and you'll have a better chance. The other thing is when you're doing your buttonholes, there's a point here where it says 3 for the buttonhole tension. Don't always go by what the books say and all that. Take up scrap piece of material, do a buttonhole, see how you like the tensions. The tensions will vary. The book is only a guide. Okay, what the settings in the books are only guides. They cannot account for expansion and contraction of metal parts. So do a test. You know, see which setting it comes out to best to bake your buttonhole, and you'll get a better buttonhole out of it. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing, where'd it go? Ah, here it is. You have these presser feet, foot pedals out there. He put a piece of Velcro, you know, the hard part on it so that it actually grabs the carpet and it won't move, and that's a great idea. So if you want to do that, you could do that to your foot pedals and keep them in place on carpet. But some of them, okay, some of the foot pedals will stop working after a while, and then you think you have to go out and buy $100 foot pedal or something. What's inside this foot pedal is this little board, okay, and there's a little pin thing that rides up and down on this board. That's all that makes this pedal work. Okay, it's not a big, there's not a circuit board in here. Okay, in this one, because the cord pulls out and back, there's a cord reel. There's a cord reel in the center of this piece, and that's like the cord reel on your vacuum cleaners. So it works similar. The contacts in there can get dirty and stuff, and you just need to take a Q-tip or something and you can clean them off. Taking the foot pedal apart, you really need like 3 hands, because this piece back here where you take it apart, there's a bar, and then the contact pin that goes on this piece, you have to line it all up, and there's 2 heavy springs in there that you're trying to push down, so it can be quite difficult to put this pedal back together. Okay, I've done it plenty of times, and I know what to look for and what not to look for. If you don't get the pin on the contact, on this little contact board right, what'll end up happening is you'll end up bending the pin. You can bend it back, you know, as long as you don't break it, but you know, you'll go through all the effort of putting the pedal back and it still won't work, and that's one of the reasons why. The other reason is the cords. A lot of times you'll get cords they'll break right here at the jack end, you know, or inside where this pedal connects to, okay, is a jack, and the pins in there a lot of times they'll separate, they'll push apart, so that when you go to push this up and the contact is not making the full contact onto the pin, onto the jack here. So, and that's another problem, issue with the pedals. Okay, but these are all things that can be fixed. Okay, I fixed this one. The contact on the jack inside here was a little bit out, you know, but now it fits in, and it fits in pretty well. The other thing is, when I work on these sewing machines, I have this mat. Okay, this is an electronic machine. It's susceptible to static charges. I use the electronic mat, the static mat, and what I've done is on my cord I have adapted it so that I can use the ground pin for my current, and I just plug that in, and it grounds the mat. The other thing is I have a wrist strap also connected to it. Okay, this wrist strap has a disconnect, and there is another piece that you can attach to, which is this guy, and he plugs right on there. So if you're walking around, you can keep your static charge down, but you should always go and back and reconnect it to the cord to ground yourself out before touching the machine. Okay, so that you won't get static charges onto the boards and possibly blow out some of the electronic components. But anyway, that's enough about that. What we're going to do is show Gary that his machine now runs. Okay, I have, this actually will go through 5 layers of denim. Okay, and that's what I did. I don't have the canvas. I ran out of the canvas, so I won't be doing the canvas today. But I have the 2 layers of starch cotton. Okay, so we'll zoom in here, and I'll show you. The 5 layers of denim. Goes right through it. Okay, and there you go. And I have his thread on the back is silver, so you might not be able to see it as much, but mine is like a bluish on top. So here's the 2 layers of starch cotton. A little fast there. There you go. Okay, goes right through it, and you can see the silver thread. And so the machine sews perfectly fine now. The other, one other thing is that you want to notice is, like, on this machine, it has, if you can see, it has the bobbin thread out piece. The way you could test that, take your bobbin case out, close the door back, and just hit and do 1 revolution, and the light will come on. Okay, just do 1 revolution. Don't just you should also take the thread out. Okay, and basically don't do a bunch of revolutions. You want to take this thread out first. Okay, and then do the revolution. That way you don't get this thread jamming in here. What happens is, when a machine locks up, there is where you oil the hook is right down here. Okay, there's a gap, and then you see this part. You'll see these. There's like 3 little cutouts. You want to keep them cleaned out. You could take a toothpick. Okay, clean it out with a toothpick. Will fit in there, you know, or you could take a sewing needle and you just pop the dirt out of that and keep it clean. That's what keeps your channel in here clean when it gets a bunch of lint in it. But you want to take your oil and put your oil right in here. Okay, that's how you lubricate it. What you do is you do that, you take your thread out. Let's take the thread out here. Take it all the way off the top. I'll show you what I do. Okay, you can leave that like that. Put a little, get your little oil dropper and put your oil on it right there. Okay, and now with nothing in it, you can run the machine. Okay, you can run it fast. This way the centrifugal force will spray the oil all around. The other thing you can do is you get some Q-tips. Okay, you take some Q-tips, you put a little bit of oil on the Q-tip. Alright, then you go inside here and you clean the inside of the case. You put some oil on this stuff. This is metal. Okay, if you're in a damp, humid area, like if you don't ever keep your machines in a basement or a garage because they're the worst places. But you can go and prevent a lot of rust by taking a Q-tip and putting some oil on it, and you put oil on this little guy here, you know, and that'll keep the metal from rusting out. The other machine that I had, the whole hook was really rusted out. This was rusted out a little bit, you know, and I was able to get a lot of the rust off. If your hook starts rusting, it's going to cause the clicking noise that you hear, because this is supposed to be free. Okay, the machine may sound different when you get it back if I clean it out and all, but most of the time you'll hear the clicking noise, and that clicking noise comes from the thread going through this guy, which is the stitch finger. Okay, the stitch finger, this black piece right here is what I call the stitch finger. Okay, and the gap right here is where the thread goes through. And what happens is this piece has to move out of the way and then snap back, and it's that snapping back that causes the ticking noise that you may hear a lot of times in these hooks. Okay, and the reason why it does that is because there's a lot of drag inside here, when you get like these hooks, they'll lock up. What happens is the thread will get caught in this channel. Okay, and it's not supposed to be in this channel. The channel has very tight tolerances. What happens with the hook, what it does is it basically takes it and loops it around this case. Okay, and it does it in such a way that it doesn't go into this channel. It never goes into the channel there. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go and they'll get a thread caught. The machine will lock up or the thread will break. And then what they'll do is they'll rethread the needle and they'll try to sew again without looking down here to see that there's another thread stuck in here. And when you get another thread stuck in there, what happens when you go and put another thread, your machine will automatically lock. Because now you have so much in there, it acts like a brake. And when you stop this hook assembly from turning, it stops the rest of the machine. It also puts considerable strain on the motor and on the circuit boards. So try to keep that clean and cleared out. The bobbin tensions, you're supposed to be able to drop this guy a little bit. You just turn them until you have a certain drag. You want to use clear bobbins on the 1171 and the 1471, 1473, and 1475. The other ones, any ones that have this bobbin thread out. Okay, but you want to do it with a full bobbin. Okay, so that you get the correct ounce weight or gram weight for the bobbin. Only do it with a full bobbin wound. And not an overfilled bobbin. An overfilled bobbin will cause problems, but you want to have the bobbin mostly filled where it's not sticking out and rubbing against the sides. If it's rubbing against the insides of the bobbin case, then you have too much thread on there. You just want to make it so that it's a full bobbin. You drop it, and basically it's supposed to drop it in your hand and pull so that you have the correct weight. Okay, you're supposed to just be able to shake the thread, and you'll be able to drop it down. So we'll put this back in. It should be wound right. Put that back in. Put my thread down, bring it back up, bring it back down and around. And needle threader, whenever you have the needle up, needle threader, you hook it. Come on. Hook it around the arm. Sometimes it's hard. It's easier if you put the foot down, because now you have some tension on the thread. Put it down like that. And you hook it underneath. And then you pull it back, and then it'll come back right up. Do it a few times, and basically you'll have it. You do one revolution, and it'll bring the thread up, just like the old-fashioned machines. The thread tensions, when you're doing certain things, you want to set your tensions, like I said before, books of references, your tensions on the top. We'll pull this back out. Your tensions on the top, you want to set it to wherever it is the best for your stitch. You won't always get a complete chain lock in the fabric. It's nice to have it, yes. On these decorative stitches, basically, to me, the most important thing is the top stitch. I mean, if you have a little bit of overlay on the back stitch, that's fine. You can even put backing material in here to make it better, and do it that way. But these are like decorative stitches. The straight stitch you want to get so that it looks good, you know, and the zigzag should come in as close as it can. Other stitches, decorative stitches, I never worry too much about them, but they're nice to have if they actually really lock all together and you get the same on both sides. But they're not critical. So anyway, that's the 1171, and it's Gary's machine, and he will be happy to get it back. So thank you for watching the video. Have a good week. Bye bye.